First and foremost, welcome to Valence Developer Diaries number 44. And yeah, Sean's going to present going over what focus by field name, applying data without going to the back end. And was that it? I don't remember.
And then that whole turning off browser
Oh, suggestions.
suggestions,
Yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
we also did have, at least in our email, we had another thing about combining buttons onto a single toolbar, like when you have filtering and searching and all that stuff.
Right.
We're actually going to push that off to the next developer diaries because we found some things we weren't liking. So we're gonna push that part off. So.
Sounds good.
Uh, let me just start here. I'm just going to bring up App Builder. Let me just show you what we have to start. Like, so this is the app we're just going to be working in to demonstrate all this. Obviously super simple. We just have a grid. If I click a uh, a row, we show a form. We load the data via filter widget. Um, I can click Add Customer, and I get a blank form. So I guess the first part I'll show, well, before I do that, let's just go into App Builder and let's just see, just so we know where we're at. So list form, I just want to show what we're doing here. I do have an app variable, customer ID. When when a row is clicked, I'm setting customer ID to the customer number that was clicked. Okay. And then when they click, we fire this event called show customer, and show customer is just doing a filter widget, just mapping customer to that app variable. So, nothing out of the ordinary here. Um, on the add customer right now, we're just doing a hide show widgets. I'm showing the customer form and clearing all the fields. So I just wanted to show that first. So let's go in here. I'm going to click add customer and I'm going to start typing. And right away, this is coming up. Where it's suggesting addresses. And I don't know, like I know we've had this happen. Like sometimes this is nice, but I know like throughout the years, like I've experienced this where I'm like, this is really obnoxious,
Yeah,
and I don't.
and that doesn't pertain to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's going in my search or like something. Yeah, it's just so right now that's on. If I go, let me just get out of here. If I go into my form, maybe some of you have already seen this, but in the UI, there's a turn off browser suggestions. So I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to save this. And now if I reload this and do the same thing, I'm no longer getting any suggestion here. Okay. So something we should have added a long time ago, right?
Agreed. Yeah, should have.
Okay. So that is the first demonstration, not really much to it. The next thing I want to show is has to do with focus. And basically now, you have the ability against your form to link an app variable and you give it the actual name of the field that you want the focus to go to. Okay, so you just reuse that same app variable and you just change the name. So if I put CNAME, the focus would go here. If I change the app variable to CADDR1, it would go here and so forth. Um, And I was trying to think of a good example. Like a good example of this might be where you have a validation. Like let's say I have a complex validation, and I'm sending back a list of many errors. Like maybe there's like 10 different fields and errors, and I show up a list of the errors. The user clicks that, and we're just swapping we're swapping focus of the field as they click this list of errors. Um, but another purpose I thought of that I think will just demonstrate this well, will just all be here. What I'm going to do is right now, as we know, if I click a row, we show this, and notice the focus always goes to the customer name, no matter what, because that's the first field. I'll change it so if I click the name, if I click the row, but I'm in the name field, it'll focus to the name. If I click the state, it'll focus to the state. If I click country, it'll focus to the country. Okay. So I'm going to go into the app. And right away, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create an app variable for this. And I'm just going to call it focus field name. Okay, so focus field name. So done here. I'm going to, oh, I'm going to link, I'm going to hover over my form link and go to focus. And we'll see. Oh, I didn't really mean to make it the same name, but I did. That's fine. So I created an app variable called focus field name. So whenever this is set, it needs to be a valid field name. And if it is, it'll focus the cursor to that field. Okay. So that's the first part. Now I need to set that focus field name app variable to a value depending on where they click on the grid. Okay. So the other part of this we're going to see that I don't know, maybe we've shown in Developer Diaries before is a cell click event. Okay.
We did once, I
We
believe.
did.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we well, I'm sorry, Johnny.
But it's good to go over it again.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to hover over this and I'm going to go to link. And the first thing here is cell click fire event. So I can fire events based on the cell that was clicked. And I'm just going to click this. This is where I can just type in the name that I want. So I'm going to call one click country. I'll call this one click name, and we'll do state as well. I'll click state. Okay. So let's just save that. I'm going to save this. Let's just see where we're at now. And we will see a little difference here. Notice when we have these cell click events on, we kind of show it by, having these as underlined to show that, they're kind of like links. Right now, if I click, doesn't matter where I click, it's all just going to work the same. Focus is going to that customer name. So now I need to do something when that event is fired. Right now, that event is fired. Like if I were to, let's see here, I'm going to cheat just because I don't want to mess with the shared screens. But notice when I click, so I just brought up my console, I'm going to click here, click state fired. Okay. But we're not listening for it. We need to do something. So I'm going to go into behaviors. I'm going to go to event listeners. I'm going to add a listener. It's a local listener here. It's not on the list here. Click state. So when click state is fired, what I want to do is set in that variable of focus field name to C state. That's the name of that form field. And I'll add another one. This is driving me crazy. Click name. And then I'll add another one. I think I did click country as well. Click country. Okay. Click country. I will set an app variable, same thing, except now the name of the field is C country. So that's done. That's done. Click name. Set app variable, C name. Save. So let's test it out now and just see what we get. So I'm going to click state. And notice my focus is still here. So it's just doesn't seem, let me try country. It's not working. So let me go back here. And this is probably something people typically don't turn off or even notice it's there. But notice in the app settings, we have this don't autofocus. So basically, anytime a form is shown or anything, we do our best to say, well, what makes the most sense to focus to right now? And it would be that first field in the form. So I'm going to turn this off. Say, look, I'm handling this myself. And let's reload this. And now I would expect it to work. So I'll click country here. Notice there's my cursor. I'll do the state. There's my cursor. If I click, okay. So now based on what I'm clicking, it's focusing to that particular field. Okay. I don't know, any questions on any of that?
I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, wait, something just popped up. Do you need to clear the app bar? No.
No.
Nope. Yeah, there's no need.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll go into the next part. Um, so this has nothing to do with focus. But as you saw in the application, when I click here, I don't know if you can see, but this is, briefly masking. We're actually going to the back end we're using that filter widget. Um, so maybe I don't
Oh, hold
care.
on, Sean. We have a question. I maybe not sure I understand. Try clicking in year-to-date sales.
Yep. So I'm not accommodating year-to-date sales, so it's doing nothing.
Right. Yeah, you still have to what if you turn that off the autofocus, it's you're taking care of it completely.
Although, you know what, we probably couldn't demonstrate that well because year-to-date sales happens to
Is
not
yeah,
an
you could
edit.
have right.
But yeah, it'll just when you don't do it, then it's just not going to focus. Um, let's yeah, anything else with that?
No, that's it.
Okay. All right. So as I was saying, when I click here, we're going to the back end each time we're loading that customer. Suppose I don't know, I'm just trying to be more efficient, or I just it's not super important to me that or it's not that likely that the records change, and I just want to load the data exactly from here. I have the data. I just want to map this data to this data without going to the back end.
And that is
Hmm?
if the fields are the same, right?
Yes, yes. So in this case, and that's what I was going to show here is, um, notice both of my widgets come from the same data. So this is, I know the data can map easily. Now, does it have to be the same data source? No. But the field names need to be the same. Okay. Because if I go into my customer list, I'm looking for a field name, C name, C state, and so forth. Um, I can have another data source that has those same names, and that's fine. That would work. But because it's coming from the same data source, I'm not even questioning it. I know it's going to work. Okay. So way we do this is first. Let me do this. Let me go into my show customer, and let me just get rid of this filter widget. I'm not going to do that anymore. Really, all I'm going to do is I just want to make sure the widget shows. I'm just going to do a hide or a show, I'm sorry, and keep the data that's on the screen. So we'll just do that for now. So I just like doing things one step at a time. Let's just see. I mean, we should just kind of get like a not very functional app right now. Yeah, so it's just that's first field and nothing changes. But notice the focus is still working. Okay. So let me create a new app variable. I'm going to call it customer data. Okay. Now, done with that, I'm going to go to my form and I'm going to click link. And under general, there's this property called data. And this is where we can set the actual data of the widget. Every single widget's going to have this property. Well, I want its data to come from customer data. Okay. So now the last step here is how do I get that data into customer data? And I want to do it when they click a row. So row click, sure, I'm firing this event. That's good. I want to keep that, but I also want to set app variables. I want my customer data. And you guys have probably seen this before, but it's kind of just like, never thought to use it. Like it's kind of strange. All data. Basically, I don't want individual values from the row. I want all of it. So customer data is just the special property called nabAllData. So I'll save that. And I would guess it would work now. So I'm going to click CNX. Yep. Now notice, we're not seeing that mask because it doesn't need to do a filter widget anymore. It's just loading this data immediately, from extracting the values of the row from the grid as I click it, and then mapping it to the data of the form. Okay. So I think that concludes it.
Wait, how does that? Is there a
Any,
advantage
I'm sorry.
over the filter? Well, I guess like you said earlier, you're not having to make that call to the back end. So it's, which is then having to run the underlying SQL statements to get the data. So like Sean said earlier, if you don't think it's really, you're not worried about the data has changed and you have the data, then you could just use this method. The other question, um, how does hasChanged feature work in this case?
How the actual has changed property, the widget property, I
Widget
assume.
property.
That's a good question.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
this
We
is
could bring
our,
up dev tools and set an app bar to that and see.
yeah. So I will just I'll create a new app variable of, form has changed. And then I'll go to this link. General has changed. Form has changed. Save. Save that. Um, let's see. I'm going to need to give me a second to reshare everything here. Let me get this up. So I'm going to stop my share for a second and redo this. So this, this. Okay, can you see them both?
Yes.
Okay, so right now form has changed as false. Notice it's still false. Notice that customer data, what got set.
Yeah, you can see that in
Um,
there.
form has changed false. So now I'm going to change something. And now all of a sudden it's true. Now, if I click here, does it reset itself? I think that's probably the question we're getting at. And it
Yes.
does reset itself, and then I go back and it's so that all still works.
And while you're in the because you have the developer tools open,
Yep.
if you go, this is a new feature that was added last, but for widget and like click on the widget fields section in developer tools. And then if like reload the customer list. If you go to network, we added an area if you drill into that call. that you can search the results. So I don't know, state CA or something, just to.
Now I can see everything from California.
Yeah, because we were finding there was times we just needed to, we're like, wait, what's going on here? Like, and you're trying to go through what was passed. And so this is a helpful way if you need to do a quick search. Sorry.
Thanks. No, that's good. All right.
Um, sometimes you can't filter the data. Oh, I think I understand what's going on. So somebody was just responding in the chat. They had a scenario where they couldn't really filter the data source. They needed to use this feature of applying the data directly. So
Oh, okay.
I think it was a statement, just not a
Oh,
question.
so good. Then maybe this is helpful. All right.
Anybody else have any questions? Will this include hidden fields as well? Yes,
Yes, absolutely.
100%. It's just so everybody understands, like it's just taking that whole, like when Sean was in that response for the network calls, if he showed just like, the full response of that network call for that list, like it's just taking all that data right there. You can see the customer data. It's taking everything. So yeah,
So
if you
yeah.
hit fields or it will apply it. There you go.
So notice as I click, oh, damn it. It's just changing. Oh, I'm not clicking that. There we go. So yeah, you get all the data because we're not showing on that grid, we're not showing address one, address two, um, last activity date. I don't think we're showing it. So yeah, you get everything in there. Oh, we are showing, but you're seeing the addresses show in there, and we're not outputting those. All right. I think that's it.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, going once, twice.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.